Hi, this video is for the bear from the Masha and the Bear cartoon. He's very cute. You can use for other teams or parties or cakes too. And this is Masha, in case you want to know. We already have her tutorial too if you need to make her. And this is all the material you're gonna need. Be sure then to watch the whole tutorial before you start because it makes that easy. So let's start. With a 40 millimeters foam ball and 60 grams of skin color, you're gonna push the foam ball until you kind of feel on the bottom, and with the palms of your hands, you're gonna push the excess up. Go closing like that so you keep all the air out of your ball because you don't want to crack when it's dry, and you keep pushing everything up, all the excess there. Try to get all the marks and everything. Try to use the palms of your hands for that, because when you touch and gently like that, and your palms of your hands are warm, so it's easy to get all the marks off your topper. And it looks like a teardrop. It's gonna look like a pear. That's the shape you want to try to get. You get the excess out right there off, and you're gonna put that part on the table and roll it a little bit. Keep working with your hands to achieve that pear face kind of shape. I'm gonna show you guys. Just keep working to get all the marks off. Take your time, because you don't want anything marking after. So that's right there. It's like a pear upside down shape. And now with your fingers, you're gonna mark where her eyes, his eyes gonna be. You're gonna mark right there, so you have the ball on the top, making the forehead, and all the excess of the dough on the bottom. And that's how we're gonna start. You mark the where the eye is gonna be, so you know how to decide. Now I'm pushing back a little bit right there because it's gonna see his nose, so I don't want to have that pointy face. So I want to just mark what the nose is gonna be, and you keep getting all the marks off. Right there is the face and the eyes, and now you have the place for the nose. With the tool, I'm just marking animals, they have those little marks everywhere to make them look cute. And now I'm marking the mouth. I make one side and I make the other side, and we have his mouth right there. This is the side, and I'm still trying to keep all the marks on my fingers off. And now I'm making with the thumb where the eye is gonna be, so you push right there gently, and you're gonna have the sockets for the eyes right there. So you have like one line for the eyes, and the second eye line is where the eyebrows is gonna be. It's just to give a little 3D dimension to the face, and I'm just making sure that my marks is still there. And the place for the nose is still there, and the face is getting the shape I wanted. So take your time to get all the marks, off. And with the bow tool, I'm just making a little dot right there into the other end of the smile. And with that same, you can use your fingers for that, but I just want to mark a little dent just for that to don't lose, because that's where I'm gonna place his nose. And I'm placing the toothpick in the bottom so I can set to dry safely somewhere. I always use those big phones, but I just want to make sure that the smile is the way I want, so I push away from the face a little, and I'm marking his sticks. You just make a little dent in each side right there. And now we're gonna where, and underneath the mouth is where the neck should start. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna use our fingers to separate the neck and the rest of the dough. So that's what we're gonna do right now. You just pull all the excess of the dough down. Don't worry about it because you're gonna cover, so you don't need to smooth anything. You just wanted to give the impression that he has a neck. So we make that mark underneath there. And now I'm placing in the foam block just to let it dry. That's why I put a toothpick, because if you let it dry sitting straight, flat and somewhere, it can lose the shape. And now with 2 grams of black, we're gonna roll a ball and make kind of like a triangle shape, but a little bit more rounded on the top for his nose. And we're gonna place right there. And you just be sure that it's sticking. If it's not sticking, use a little water. If you're using edibles, use edible glue. If you're not using edible materials, you can just use normal glue. And I'm making just the 2 holes on the nose. I'm just rolling down the edges between the black and the skin color, because I don't want it to have any, hole or too much space. I'm just being sure that they are connecting to each other. Right there. Now we're gonna need a 7 inches or 18 centimeters foam cone. You can find a Michael's, Joann's, Walmart, anywhere. And we're gonna start rounding the bottom, because that's gonna be the end of his belly. So we're gonna get all that straight edge out, and we're gonna start making a little more rounded. Take your time and be careful with your fingers. Keep it going slowly, because it's better, cut very slow than just cut something and you cannot fix it. So now that I have all the cuts, I'm gonna cut in the diagonal right there where the legs are gonna be. So imagine then he needs that indentation to put the leg. So I'm gonna cut one side and I'm gonna cut the other side. It's like his belly is this part on the front, and that part is gonna be where his leg's gonna be. So we're cutting a slice off right there. And just be sure then you don't have any, flat parts. So I'm rounded again. Since I cut it, I thought that was a little flat. And now you clean everything, and we have those 2 parts for the legs. And now we're gonna use the sandpaper. If you don't have it, you don't need it, but I just like to leave as smooth as I can, so you don't see in the top when you're covering. So I like to sand it everything. And don't forget to clean everything where you're working after you doing this, because foam goes everywhere and you don't want to get your dough all dirty with foam when you're opening to cover. Here we go. And now we clean up the table, and we're gonna cut the beginning of the cone because we don't need that. So we're gonna cut kind of like almost 2.5 inches. If we're gonna cut that part off, because we don't need that. We want just the body of the bear. So I'm using the X-Acto knife to cut. And now we're gonna round it the top again, like the same thing that we did to the bottom of his belly. We're gonna round it right there. See, that's the size. Gonna be 1, 2, 3, 4 inches kind of long. And now I'm not giving you the weight, because you just need a piece enough, big enough to cover that cone for like the whole thing. So you get a little brown and you just open big enough to cover, like if you open a fondant to cover a cake, or even a cold porcelain to cover a fake cake. You just need big enough. Doesn't need a right shape or anything. You just need to cover. I always stand up and try to use my arms or the weight, so it's easier for you to do it. You don't need to use, just suffer too much. And we're gonna open until it's big enough. Be careful if it's dry, if it's sticking, you can use, something to don't stick to your table. And now I think I have enough. I'm checking if it's enough. And we're gonna place right in the middle and try to get the belly part right in the center, so you keep the edges, the part that is getting together, in the back, just to be sure that the front part of your topper is gonna be as prettier as can be, And now I'm trying to cover everything. Don't worry about yet, because we're gonna smooth everything. Just cut the excess off. Try to don't take it too long to cover and cut and smooth everything, because it can get dry if using cold porcelain, and even gum paste, depends where you live. It can get dry too, and then you're not going to be able to take all the marks you want off. And I'm keeping cutting the excess off, and I'm going to roll on my table until I'm totally satisfied and I don't have any mark or anything. Don't let any hole or any phone show. Just keep covering and keep working with your hands until you get everything smooth. I'm just making sure that those two cuts that we made for the legs is still there. So that's why I was pushing down the table, because I don't want to lose that. So we have them right there, one and the two on the bottom. And here we go. That's the one part, the second part, and the front's gonna be his belly. I'm gonna open a little skin color or beige dough to make a little lighter part of his belly. You just try to make a little oval shape big enough to make his belly. So, you can make as big as you want. I don't like to cover everything, so I just open and I place there, and I decide how big I want to be. And if I want it smaller, I just cut the excess. So I'm placing right there for his belly, and I think it's too long because I don't want to cover everything. So I just cut an oval shape right there. And now using a tool or anything like a toothpick, anything that you can just make the marks of the fur right there. So you want to just giving a little more realistic furry look, and we're just gonna do that all around. Keep it going till you satisfy, and that really helps to put everything together too. And now I'm just gonna mark, like, just keep doing it. There's no right or wrong. You just trying to make him appear to be all fluffy. So we want marks of fur everywhere. And I'm gonna do the same thing on the brown. The whole thing. I don't know if you know, but I have a YouTube channel. Then I always place free tutorials there too. So if you want to have more tutorials, and if you're liking this video, I have a bunch there too. You can look for us, Cup and Cake Gourmet, on YouTube, and you can watch other tutorials there. I'm just making marks all around to make him look more fluffy, and you just keep going until you cover the whole brown with fluffy, with furry. You can even use a little knife for that if you don't have the tool, and if the toothpick is breaking, because probably you will break that easy, but you can use a little knife or anything like that. Be careful you don't have any holes, so you cover and you just, you know, keep going. Are you tired yet? Just keep going, keep going. Almost done. Here we go. Just take your time to do this, because once it's dry you cannot do anymore, and it looks better. It looks like he's more furry than if you don't do that. So now we good to go with this. I'm gonna place a toothpick right there where the head's gonna be, because I don't want it to dry and don't have that hole. And we're gonna leave that drying, and we're gonna start with the brown again, with 70 grams of brown, or 2.5 ounces for each of his legs. You make a roll and you measure if you think it's long enough, and it's probably close to 4 inches long, I think. We just push down one part, and the other part is you're gonna use your finger. You're gonna go up and down, up and down, up and down, to separate the leg and the foot. So now we have the leg and we have his foot. And we're gonna mark right there. He's trying to run away from me. We're gonna mark his fingers or toes. Not even toes. I think it's toes, right? For bear? I don't know. We're gonna make those marks right there. And now I'm making the bottom part, and we just bang a little bit to be flat on the bottom, and we have our first leg. Let me measure to see if it's the way I want it. Always look at the picture to know how it looks like and how you want him to be, or sitting or standing. You can change. You can make him sitting with his legs out at the edge of the cake or anything. I'm just showing the way that I saw in a bunch of pictures. And now we're gonna repeat the same process with the same amount of dough for the other leg. Be sure that they're the same size, going up and down on your finger to separate the leg and the foot. Be sure that it's the same length, and you cut if it's the excess. And now I'm gonna mark again. And now we're gonna place, this is the bottom leg in my case, so I'm gonna place right there, and you push the body down, and now we're gonna find the way you want his leg to be. So I want to place both so I can decide. Take your time to get the position that you're happy with. I want him lazy lying on the floor. So you fix and you put it the way you want him to look. And you get a little extra dough, like brown, just make a little roll, and we're gonna place right around right there to give a little finishing. And now we're gonna do exactly what we did before, all the fur everywhere now. And that helps you to connect this piece that we just placed on the top. Use your fingers if you need it, just to, move around a little, but you keep going. I'm pushing it down because I want you don't see them, where they get together. And now I'm gonna do the fur again. And do in the bottom too, because you never know if you're gonna, where the topper is gonna be, where the decoration is gonna be. So you do all around, and you use that on the edges where the seams get, where those are getting together. Use your fingers to smooth it out, and use that on the top. Here we go. I'm just trying to disappear the seams where everything gets together. So you use your fingers, and then you just make more marks. Be sure the knee is still in the position you want. I'm just checking if all my marks is still there. With another piece of brown, we're gonna make another row, just to place right there, because I want him to be like kind of holding his head. So I want to put it the position that I want it to be. So I'm placing that on the bottom, because you're not gonna see it, but it's gonna keep the way I want him to be lying down. So now he stays more the way I want it. with the skin color again, we're gonna make little balls just to put details on his spots. He has, you know, like a bunny, a bear, they have those little cutie things on the bottom. So that's what I want to do. And I'm talking about feet and foot and legs, not about paws. I'm sorry. So we're gonna fix the bottom of that one too. Details are never too much, even though that part is touching the table and you're probably not gonna even see it. You place it anyway, because if you move around and you see it, you're gonna say, oh god, I forgot that. So it's better don't forget and just place it anyway. And I'm just being sure that all my marks is still the way I want it. Here we go. And now with 48 grams or 1.7 ounces of brown for each arm, we're gonna start modeling the arms. So I have 2 balls. We're gonna roll. And it's gonna be close to like 3 or 4 inches, but you still look to your model and see how, you know, which size you think is gonna be better. I'm just getting the excess off right there, because this way I can get all the marks easier off. I'm checking the size and the way I want it to be, if it's big enough. I'm going roll up and down to separate the arms and the paws, and then I'm gonna mold that part. You just fold it up and go, and now up and down for his knees. No, for his, that's not legs. See, I'm going crazy. But you got me, right? You're gonna see better. It's like a S. It's almost like a snake right now. And now we're gonna start making the fur, because then we can get all the edges to disappear. And we're gonna do that all around again. So that's the paw, and that's the elbow, and the rest of the arm on the bottom. So we keep doing that. Here we go. We mark all the fur all around. And I'm gonna get the skin color again and place there, because he has his spot up, so the mark's gonna be on the top. And then I'm flattening it out, just the end, because it's gonna fit better underneath the body. And I'm just putting up to give a little difference between, you know, to leave a little bit a better shape. And that for the nails, so you make some holes. And we place right there. Now we're gonna do all over again for the other arm. up and down, up and down, up and down to do the separation. And then to the elbows. So you mold that part first. And now we're gonna make out the fur again. And you start making the shape you want. So I put the elbow right there because I want him to, you know, to be with that, like he's holding something up. You can put a candle, you can put a present, you can put anything there. So I thought it was cool. And then we keep making the fur all around. And you do the separation right there. And more fur. Here we go. And I'm making the little circle again for the detail, and I'm gonna place right there. Here we go. Just to be sure if I like it. Gonna place the toothpick inside. You can let it dry before you put it in the body if you feel more comfortable. A little bit so it holds the shape you want. So I'm just being sure the edges still have the fur. And you're gonna set that aside to dry just a tiny bit so it doesn't, you know, lose the shape. And I'm placing the toothpick where I want that to be, just in case the body gets dry and that gets hard to insert the toothpick right there. And now with the brown again, we're gonna open a piece big enough to cover his face. So you just open everything. Don't let it to be too thin because you don't want to see, you know, see through anything. Here we go. And we're gonna place right there. But before you place it, you're gonna get another little piece of brown, and you're gonna place right in the center, because it's gonna give an impression then that part of his head, the fur is a little, you know, more fluffy. So we're gonna place that and then place that circle, then we open on the top. And then you place that right there. And you go all around. And we're gonna cut the excess. And smooth everything. Here we go. And now again, guess what? More fur. all around. And you're gonna cover everything for again. Here we go. Now we're gonna see where we want his face to be on the body. So you look at the picture, or you decide the way you want him to look. I want him to be, holding his head up. So I'm gonna place the arm right there. Be sure that you're very satisfied where it is. If you're not, just change and find the best place for you. And now we're gonna use the black. There's no way to, because it's not a lot. I'm just gonna make 2 balls for the ears. So you can make the ears a little bigger or a little smaller. That's up to what you want. I'm just gonna make tiny little ones, so that's why I didn't have that much how to give you the weight, because my scale wasn't giving me the answer. So you make 2 balls and you flatten a little bit, and you get a little bit of brown, and you make smaller little balls and place in the center. And now we're gonna push down with the ball to make the hole in the ear. You know that sensation that there's a hole in the ear. So I push the brown inside the black, and I'm putting the excess inside, and I'm gonna show you guys right now. See? Just that. And do the other one again. You just push down, make the hole, and now I'm gonna place a toothpick right there, because you need to put it in on his head, and I'm just making more fur. The same thing in the other one. Here we go. And I'm putting the toothpick in the other one. And now we're gonna place on his head. Here we go. Now with the black again, we're gonna make his eyebrows. So I'm just gonna roll a ball and make a little, teardrop skinny shape. We need 2. Try to make it the same size or close enough. And we're gonna place right there between his face and his ears. And with the black again, we're gonna make a smaller ones for the nails. So we're gonna place in every single hole that you made on the paws. You're gonna place 4 each. You push right there. If it's not sticking, you can use a little water, edible glue, or glue, depending on the material you're using, because you don't want that to fall out. Here we go. I just curved them a little bit because, you know, if you have long nails, they start to curl. So that's what I wanted to look like. He's holding his hands up, so it will be, you know, a little going up a little around his face. And now we're gonna do the same process all to the other pieces. Just make balls and then you shape them all together. Just roll them a little bit and place them. And form other little balls. And you're gonna place them right there. And this one I'm curling down since he has, you know, he's all relaxed right there. Sorry, my light's blinking. See, gonna put the last one right there. Here we go. Make sure then he's in the position that you want him to be when it's dry. I place another piece of foam right there to be easier to move, and now I'm placing the other hand arm that we're waiting to dry a little bit more, and I'm gonna make the fur right there on the edge where then arm is getting together to the body, so that helps to stick together and it looks better so you don't see the seams. And I also put the nails on that one before too. Here we go. So in this arm that it has up, you can place a little present, the candle with the number you want, or anything up there. So he's sitting in a bunch of pictures like that, so I decided to do like this. And with this ball tool, I'm just making the little holes for the eyes, but if you don't have that tool, you can use anything just to make 2 holes right there. And now we're gonna place 2 white little balls right there to finish the eyes. Place one and the other one right there. So we're done. Let it dry completely overnight if it's possible before we start painting. But if you can wait, just paint very careful. But the best thing is to dry. And I'm again using the wood skewer to hold everything in place. So let's get ready to start painting. Now he's completely dry. I can touch it, everything is all dry and everything is fine. And we're gonna start painting. He has a very easy face, so we're gonna start with a little brown and a very skinny paintbrush to make the eyebrows. Eyebrows is just little tiny lines right there, just to give more shape to the face. It's not even eyebrow because he has the black eyebrows. It's just to give that impression on the face. A little 3D dimension right there. Here we go. Making more furry. Now with the black, we're gonna go around the top. That's his eyes and on the side. I'm sorry, it's hard to do that without hiding for you. Let me show what I did. I just went down and around his eye with the black, and we're gonna do that to the other side as well. Here we go. And now with the dot maker, or if you don't have anything else, we're gonna make the brown right there. So I'm just measuring to see the size I want, and then we're gonna make it again a little tiny bigger. Right there. Let it dry before the next step. And if you're not comfortable with the paintbrush, you can jump the step. I'm just outlining in black the brown that we just put it on. But if you're not used to it, or if you think you're gonna mess, just leave the brown there. It's totally fine. It's gonna look cool too. I'm just trying to show everything you can do. So I'm outlining the brown with the black. And now with the two again, I'm just giving a little dot at white for the light reflection. And his face is done. With a little other brush, I'm just getting the excess of the brown on the paper because I don't want it to paint. I just wanted to get a little dirty, like a little color on that between the brown and the skin color, just to give a little dimension. So I'm just making it dirty actually. So you get a little of the paint and you clean your brush on the paper, and then you just go over the edge right there. Here we go. And you can do that to the details on the paws as well. Just remember to get the excess of the paint off because you don't want everything to be brown. You just want it to give a little life, a little color. I just place a little bit there. Actually, didn't make it a lot of difference, so you don't need to. But he's done. We're done. How cool is that? He's very cute and not that complicated. I hope this tutorial gonna help if you need to make him, or if you need to make any other bear. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you guys like this tutorial. Go follow us on YouTube to get free tutorials there. And let me know if you like it. Just if you need to talk to me, feel free to send me an email. And thank you so much.